real estate, mortgages, and related financial products to achieve a more secure financial future. For the real estate investor or the home buyer, he's able to provide expertise in matching the right properties and financing with your specific financial objectives. This show is dedicated to helping you find the safe and simple approach to buying income producing real estate. If you have any questions about the program or to arrange a consultation, call toll free 888-595-7779. That's 888-5.
And hello, South Florida. Welcome to another live edition of the Real Estate Show, the Tuesday edition of the Real Estate Show, also known amongst our regulars as the Tools, Tips, and Techniques edition of the Real Estate Show. The Real Estate Show, which is live 5 days a week, each weekday, Monday through Friday. Each day of the week, we have a different sort of approach, different angle, but we also have a similar theme going throughout the week. Well, there's always the same theme when it comes to the Real Estate Show, and that is real estate. Real estate, which we think is the best possible, the ideal investment that offers you the opportunity to earn income, to earn extensive tax advantages, more tax advantages in this asset class than any other out there, offers you the ability to build equity, create, enhance, and increase your equity through a number of different ways, which we talk about here on the Real Estate Show, as well as benefiting from the appreciation. And those of you who are in real estate and have been for the last 12 months, you've experienced about 15% appreciation. Not always occurring, the appreciation. We call it the icing on the cake, quite frankly. But those of you who have real estate for the medium to long term always do experience at some point as the cycle comes back around every single time. No matter how bleak, how dark it looks, whether it was the Great Depression, the Great Recession, or even as you saw the pandemic. In fact, real estate kind of shrugged the pandemic off. Perhaps even benefited from the pandemic, making people more aware of the value of real estate as not only a roof over your head, but your place of most time spent, recreation, place of employment, and where you work, school, as it was for the first year with a lot of the remote schools, and even a place where you can work out and do a whole bunch of other things there. So the real estate really has increased in, I would say, awareness, and therefore the awareness of the value. And so all week long, we talk about different topics. 1 week, we're talking about foreclosures and real estate owned. Next week, we might be talking about the equity markets. We've been talking about the financing. We've talked about credit. We spent the last 2 weeks talking about house hacking. Week 1, what we called house hacking 1.0, and week 2, which was house hacking, taking it to a whole nother level, calling it house hacking 2.0. And this week, I kind of wanted to sort of flip the conversation around a little bit and say, listen, you hear me say all the time that everybody is in real estate. A true fact. In fact, real estate talks about how we all sleep somewhere, and so either you own the real estate, that means that you're in real estate, or you use the real estate, it means that you're on real estate. Whether you're in real estate and you are the beneficiary of the appreciation, the tax benefits, the equity buildup, and and even the ability to leverage it into more assets, the income, etc. If you're on real estate, then in one way or another, you're paying for it, right? You are either paying the rent, writing out a monthly check. You are either going to work on that real estate, and your labor contributes to part of the income of the company that in turn pays the rent to give you a place to work. But one way or another, we're all in this real estate world. Some of us consciously, some of us subconsciously. And so, I was just looking at some interesting headlines right now. Do you know that more than 14 million homeowners refinanced during the pandemic? Hardly you would say that real estate was standing still. Real estate took quantum leaps forward in terms of technology, in terms of remote ownership, remote selling of it, remote management of it, in fractionalizing it. Airbnb became even more popular. The ability to rent out, and as we saw, people are renting out backyards and swimming pools. They rent out part of the internal house. They rent out driveways and garages. It's really kind of fascinating if you take a few steps back and really look at the whole picture. And but I had this interesting conversation, which is really what started this whole conversation for this week. Is real estate isn't for everybody. Everybody is on real estate, but it really isn't for everybody. Not everybody will own real estate, and certainly not everybody can own real estate. It is not, therefore, it is not a right to have ownership of real estate. It is, in fact, a privilege, but I'm telling you that it is a privilege worth working for. So one of the things that you have to kind of figure out is, if you owned real estate, why would you want to own real estate? Now, I can give you a laundry list, a virtually never-ending list of why you do want to own real estate. And if you were to look at strictly from the logical point of view, you would absolutely 100% every single time want to own real estate. Even if you move around, buy one, leave it rented, buy another one, leave it rented, buy another one. At the end of that haphazard, and mind you, I know what I'm saying, haphazard buying spree over your career as you move around, you will have amassed quite the interesting portfolio. And because it's not over a short period, but over a long period, that real estate will appreciate. And that is where you definitely want to be. Just like Susanna is saying here on our Facebook live broadcast, real estate is the place you want to be, benefiting from, again, the appreciation, the income, the equity buildup, the leverage, the tax advantages. And, we've talked about our 5-star approach, why we believe that real estate is, in fact, the ideal investment. Now, on the other hand, sometimes getting away from the logic, and there's plenty of studies, financially speaking, it's always better over the long run to have owned than it is to have rented. Now let's talk in terms of education. Pretty much the statistics, the research, the studies, and the data all show that families that are raised in a home that is owned get on average better grades, graduate higher in their class, go to better colleges, get better jobs, earn more income, and therefore, it's a self-propelling prophecy, which means that with that extra income, what do? They buy real estate. And because they continue the tradition or the culture of buying more real estate, it lends that helps to propagate that into the next generation, and so forth. I know in my family, my kids got a good dose and a good taste also of the benefits and what real estate does. And so even Jordan, my 9-year-old, understands the value of real estate, and from the rent checks that he watches us go pick up at the PO box, to seeing the properties and all the different experiences. In fact, today was a really funny story that I'd love to share. If we have time, we'll come back to it. But here's what I really wanted to talk about, because this week I was asking the question: is real estate really for everybody? And the answer is no, right? And I'm not even talking about being able to afford real estate. I'm talking about the ability to handle real estate. Now, one of the best studies that I've seen, and one of the things hopefully that you'll take away from this, because remember, in the backdrop of all this conversation, it may seem like I'm discouraging people from real estate, and all I'm really trying to do is perhaps open your eyes to some of the reasons why you may think you don't want real estate. But in fact, if you were to, again, take a step back, analyze this from a logical point of view, you will see that you absolutely should own real estate. And when should you buy real estate? What's my answer? When you can. When you can, I'm going to tell you, if you're going to own real estate for the medium to long term, it doesn't matter where in the cycle. You could have bought it in at the peak of the market in 2006, and if you still had that real estate today, guess what? It is worth a lot more than what it was worth in 2006. If you owned real estate, you bought real estate at the bottom of 2009 and 10, boy, oh boy, is it worth a lot more than it was back then. So you may have had better times, but you'll always end up in the positive if you own it from the medium to long term, which is what we talk about in many of the instances. Yes, we do buy, fix, and flip properties. Yes, we do buy and resell the contract, sometimes in less than 30 days. But that is not the predominance of what we do. And I will tell you that the real serious money in real estate is made in the 3 to 7 to 10 year holds or longer. And I'll tell you that, in fact, I was sitting in a room today, and in fact, this reminds me. I was sitting in a room this morning for several hours with our fearless first time home buyers team. And we have an all-star team. If you've been to any one of our workshops, you've met Skip, who's got 30 plus years in the real estate business, owned a major national mortgage company. We're talking about depth of play. If this were an NFL team, this would be the NFL All-Stars. This would be the Super Bowl team. We've got Rita, who is just a mortgage maven, knows where to find the products, how to get the products, knows the ins and outs. And so this is why, we're so strong when we even talk about it here on the radio show. If you want to own a piece of property and you don't own a piece of property, we have a fearless first-time homebuyers workshop. And as you can tell by the title, the idea is to take anybody, no matter where you are in the process, even if you were just thinking about it. I bet you that if after you attend our fearless first-time homebuyers, we're going to show you that you can buy it with virtually no money down, a house. It doesn't matter what your income is, what your down payment is, what your credit is. All that matters is that you're sincere. If you're coachable and cooperative and committed, those are the 3 C's that I look for. Coachable, cooperative, and committed, which means that you'll listen and pay attention and attend our workshop, which is absolutely for free. It's online, so you can come in your pajamas and your fluffy flip-flops, or you can come as you wish. But you can come from your office, from your house, from your cell phone. We have all types of people. Hundreds of people have already been through our workshops. And I will tell you that the reviews that we get from the workshop are nothing short of very good, bright, 5-star workshops. There's a lot of content that we give on this workshop. We show best practices so that you can buy faster, so that you can buy with better prices, get better payments, and be more secure. We help you gain in this workshop an understanding of what your unique situation is, and then what it can be as a homeowner. And so, we share a lot of insights. We share a lot of experience. There's over 100 years of experience just on the Super Bowl team that we're just talking about here for our fearless first-time home buyers. If you would like to come and get a free invitation from us, and it is by invitation only. That's the only difference, is that I don't give out the website where you can go and just attend it. You've got to be invited. We want to make sure that when we block a spot for somebody, it's somebody that's coachable, cooperative, and committed to the process that wants to do that. And it's something that's very unique. You won't hear, see, or experience anything like this anywhere else, nowhere else, because I have been around long enough and I'm involved enough to see that nobody does what we're doing here 100% for free, because we have the mission. Not only is the radio show's mission to enable, educate, and empower more people to have a piece of the American dream. That's our mission, has been for the last 20 years. But our joint mission in this project, the Fearless First Time Homebuyers, is to put 100 first-time homebuyers in a home in this year here that we're talking about. So if you want to get a free invitation to that, all you have to do is type the word discovery, and that's the keyword for this week, and text it to our dedicated 24-hour text line. No one's going to answer the phone. All you have to do is text to the word discovery to 561-861-2366. That's 561-861-2366. And so what I want to spend today in kind of getting into the nitty gritty of what we're talking about, it's not for everybody. I don't know how many of you have ever heard of what they call the DISC analysis. It's DISC. I mentioned it yesterday, and the DISC assessment, you can do it for free. You can actually go and find out which one of these four letters you are. And many people aren't just one. And so, the D stands for dominant. And that's somebody sort of like a driver. They're a bottom line person. We're going to get into each one of these personality traits right after the break. Then you have the sort of the I personality, which is the influencer, the introspective. They like the information. Then you've got the S in the DISC, which is sort of a steady, again, somebody that's much more evaluative. And then you have the C, which is sort of the compliant person. You give them the steps, and they don't like to make waves. We'll like I said, we'll talk more about each one in a little bit more depth. But when you understand better where you are, number one, that gives you a whole new perspective and understanding of how you behave when presented with additional information and when problems come up. And once you recognize that, you understand what your reaction is, and don't let the emotion take the best out of you or take you out of some great deals. I mean, how many of you had been presented with an opportunity, you were seriously interested and wanted to do it, and then at the very last minute, because somebody talked you out, I heard a very sad story. I think it was this weekend. We were talking about this one contractor that was doing all this work for this developer, and he saw it was such a good deal, and he put a deposit on 10 pre-construction properties, super discounted price, and he let one of his friends talk him out of it. And that was when the market was soft. Imagine where he would be today if he had those 10 properties that were being delivered into this strong market. And because of a naysayer, Chicken Little, tell him, no, the sky could fall and this could happen and that, he got talked out of a great deal that not many people get handed to them. And today, now that's a lamentable story that he tells. And I tell you this so that you don't make the same mistake, and you understand why our conversation today, while it doesn't sound like, hey, where's the real estate? This is all about real estate. Real estate isn't just about brick and mortar. Real estate is about the whole concept, the whole business, the whole benefit of this world is. Because remember, we're either in real estate or you're on real estate. Some people are consciously in real estate, and they're the ones who are reaping the rewards. Some people just march like little ants every day to and from work, and they're subconsciously on real estate. They're using it, they're paying for it, and they don't understand the opportunity that's right there below their feet. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break here. A few words from our sponsors. You're listening to The Real Estate Show. My name is Eric Woolner, and I'll be right back.
We now have a Facebook page called
Let's see.
The Real Estate Show. This is an opportunity
So what do you guys think?
for us to share with you
Is this helping?
photos, videos, interviews, upcoming events, and a lot more information on a regular basis on our Facebook
It is a
page.
5-star
But to
investment.
make it really exciting, we want your input, your comments, and your likes. And that will help us make both.
So I was kind of interesting to see the vast number of homeowners that refinance. 2%. I was sitting in the office at our mortgage office today, as interest rates are rising right now, and we were calling some clients to lock them in the last of the 2.9% interest rates for a 30-year mortgage. 2.99. Can you think that doesn't sound like a mortgage rate? And welcome back. For those of you just joining us here on the Real Estate Show, my name is Eric Wilner, and we are here live Monday through Friday. And while I forgot to mention in the first half of the program, we're available 5 different ways, not only 5 different days, but 5 different ways right here on the AM 1470 that many of you are listening to us since the beginning. We're also on the FM dial now at 96.9, 95.3, just to name a few. We're on the apps. If you have any of the radio apps like the radio.com, the TuneIn app, which even has an alarm reminder for your favorite shows, the iHeartRadio app. So literally the boundaries have gone away. We're not just in the local airwaves footprint here in South Florida, but we have folks listening to us all over the country and even all over the world. And in addition to that, we also stream our show live on our website at automaticlandlord.com. That's automaticlandlord.com. And you also can watch our show and participate at our live Facebook broadcast, and just go to Facebook and look for The Real Estate Show, as if it was one long word, The Real Estate Show. And you can find us there and watch us live or on demand. You can see our shows anytime you want because they're recorded and they are in chronological order. So you just go down. The farther down you go, the farther back you're going in time. And it literally goes back, over a decade of content. There's more content on the Real Estate Show here than I'll tell you in any other place that you go. Even the most expensive courses that you go to won't have all of the content, the hours and hours of good, valid content. And so this week in this show today, we were talking particularly, and I wanted to share this, the DISC assessment, which kind of summarizes what's the dominant part of your personality. And why is this important? And I'm, having an engineer's background and being somebody that's a lot more, I would say, logical than emotional. Whenever these kind of things were presented to me in the past, I would say, no, not that frou-frou stuff. That's not for me. That doesn't really matter. But with time and a little bit more maturity, I realized that, in fact, the reality of things is that we make decisions emotionally, but justify them with logic. And you'll find out if you look at a lot of the big decisions that you made it because it seemed great at the time. There was either, peer pressure or the environment, or it was just a desire, right? That desire that you had. And how many times have we bought something that I know I shouldn't have bought it, but I really wanted it, right? And so understanding that, number one, can prevent you from making some of these rash or emotional, impulsive decisions for something. But also, as I was telling in the story right before the break, also a reason not to back out of things for fear and emotion when logic will tell you that this is a great investment. And how many times have I shared the process of buying one house every 5 years, and then doing your 40-year career, you end up with a multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio, a heavy 5-6 per month income figure, 6 figures for sure in retirement, regardless of whatever you did in life. You didn't have to make a lot of money to do this. You just had to have made enough money. Like if you can afford rent, you could have afforded to own. And that is still the case today. So understanding these, and I'm gonna put this in our workshop. If you want a copy of the DISC assessment summary and where you can get your free DISC assessment, you'll answer the questions right online. Then text the word discovery to 561-861-2366. Once again, that's 561-861-2366. And I'll send you all the information so that you can do your own DISC assessment. Very valuable. Hopefully you saw why in today's show. Anyway, tomorrow we got our midweek report. So stay tuned and join us again tomorrow right here, same place where you saw us today. Until then, this is your host, Eric Wellner, signing off. Drive safe and make it a great day. The report.
Thanks for listening to The Real Real Estate Show, brought to you by Capital One
go
Group
over here.
LLC in Boca Raton. Eric Wilton and Capital One Group LLC are available to assist you with your financial